Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Laura and on my channel I'm sharing everything I'm doing to make myself happier and healthier and live a happier and healthier life. And today I'm back at my allotment. Now you might have seen I've only recently uploaded the first video about my allotment, but that was filmed actually quite a few weeks ago and I just hadn't had the chance to sort it out and get it uploaded. So I'm actually back quite soon after that one was uploaded, but not after it was filmed. So there's quite a lot that has changed here at my allotment, and I like to come when I've got an afternoon off and when I don't have the rest of the family here and my kids here, so that I can do the filming without distraction, and they're not going to be on here, so it's better that they're not here when I'm filming. So that's what I'm going to do today. Quite a lot has been done and there is still quite a lot to do, but I'm excited. We've got some things growing, we've got quite a lot of progress, so I thought I would just show you what we've done and then, you know, spend the day with me, or the afternoon with me anyway. So there's quite a lot that we have planted. Some stuff's worked, some stuff hasn't. That's, I think, part and parcel of gardening. I'm really excited. The plum tree blossomed a few weeks ago and now it's getting its leaves. I'm really excited to see that we get plums. I've got quite a few things coming up. We had our first bits of harvest. We had some of the rhubarb, that was delicious. We've had some radishes come up because they don't take long to grow. So yeah, it's just, I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. It's really doing me good. Really so happy that we've started this. So yeah, I guess I'll turn you around, give you a quick tour, and then I'll get to doing some jobs. Okay, so there's really not been much progress on this side of the allotment, as you can see. Pretty much that side is nearly sorted and we're working on this side. We've just started to sort out a bed here. You'll notice that massive tree thing that we had there is almost all gone. We just need to get the last bit out. We've moved up some of the wood that was rotting all the way down the side, and along here there was just rotting wood. So that's what you can see in piles in places, but they're going to sort that obviously. So there's not a lot done on this side. We've sorted out the compost pile a bit and things like that, but nothing major. Everything that's kind of worth seeing is on this side, and I'm actually going to start with this. We acquired a polytunnel. Nothing fancy, probably one of the cheapest you can get for that size. I don't want to be spending huge amounts of money on things like that at the moment, especially because we're going to have to buy a lot of compost, and obviously we've got all the seeds and things like that, and other things that we're going to need to help us with the gardening. We had some stuff, but we've had other things to buy, so I didn't want to spend a huge amount of money on the polytunnel. This works. It is anchored into the ground. I don't know if you can see, there's like wooden stakes. This was recommended to us by someone here at the allotment. So there's wooden stakes in the ground. They're a good foot in the ground, have a good foot into the ground, and then it's tied to that, and the metal poles of the polytunnel itself are on the ground. So yeah, hopefully it's not going anywhere. So far so good. But like I said, nothing fancy, but absolutely does the job. We've got a thermometer up in there so we can see, and it gets to some really high temperature. It was 35 degrees in there before I opened up the door, which actually some of my seedlings are not very happy about, so I need to figure out something about those, and they certainly need washing. But you can see I've got like a makeshift shelf thing with some seedlings. Some of them are things I've started at home and I've sort of brought here to sort of harden off and see how they cope. I've got some potatoes in bags and some other bits that I'm just growing, but yeah, eventually once the time comes to pot up my tomatoes and cucumbers that I've got at home, which are growing lovely at home, I will actually make some beds in there. I'm going to do all around the outside, so I'm going to move that mat to the middle and make it like a path, and then I'm going to do beds all around for the warm loving crops that are going to go in there. So but it's still a bit early, it still gets quite cold at night. It got down to 1 degree in there according to the thermometer last night, so it's still too cold to be in there for those plants. But I've got a few seedlings. In fact, let me show you. Why not? Let's show you what I've got in here. So, oh, it's a lot cooler now. It's dropped down to 29. It was 35, so glad I opened the door. Right, so you can see some of these are pretty dry. I'm going to have to water them, but I've got some flowers that I'm growing, some more beetroot. These are lettuces that I had sown at home, and they were like quite leggy, and I thought I'll give them a go. Honestly, if they don't make it, they don't make it. I thought I'd give them a go. I've got some of my multi-sown leeks that are looking quite happy. I've trimmed the ones that I've got at home. I kept some at home just in case. Like, I didn't bring everything. I thought I'll bring some, leave some at home, and then if the ones I bring die, I've got backups. So I've trimmed the ones at home though, so I might trim these in a little bit. Some beetroots that I'm genuinely not sure why I sowed them like that, but anyway. These are Brussels sprouts that actually aren't looking too happy. They're really small. I mean, those are really dry as well, so they definitely need a water. These aren't looking too bad though. That's also some multi-sown beets. Not looking too bad. These are spring onions. I'm not really sure again why I sowed them like that, but anyway, that's what's in there. So that's the polytunnel. And then over here I had strawberry plants at my house that were really near to a raspberry cane that I'd planted, like a baby one. I planted it last year, it's growing again this year. And then I read that strawberry plants really shouldn't be near raspberry canes, so I brought them all here. So yeah, they're looking all right. Seem quite happy. Some tiny little ones across the middle that were the babies, and then over there I have some asparagus crowns that I have done. That these all look like they need a good watering. Across in this bed I planted these up at the weekend. Lettuces, carrots, spinach, some parsnips, peas, which none of the peas that I have sown have germinated at all. I think I've got a dud packet. I even did that thing where you put some in the, like, in a hot place. I put some in my airing cupboard with like in a plastic, you know, like, what am I trying to say? I put some in my airing cupboard, you know, when you put them in like a plastic bag and some damp kitchen foil to germinate, and they didn't germinate, they just really smelt bad. So I think I have some really dud seeds. So I'm going to contact the seed company. Same thing happened with my broad beans. So I'm going to contact the seed company because I'm not obviously very happy about that. And I really do want to plant some seeds for growing peas. So fingers crossed that gets sorted. But yeah. I think... Oh, they also did some multi-sown beetroots under there as well. This has fallen off, blown off in the wind. So I need to secure that down a bit better. But I want to water everything first. Might as well water it before I do it. Here I've got all of my potatoes. Well, not all my potatoes actually. I've got another bed. But this is all potatoes. So on the back half is second earlies, Charlottes. And these are the main crop that just went in. Nothing's coming. I don't expect the main crop coming up yet. I'm not seeing anything coming up from the second earlies yet, so it's just a mud pile, but hopefully soon we'll get some growth. Over here, this was sown quite a while ago, so actually there's some exciting things happening here. This though is where some of those peas were that just have not at all come up, which is really disappointing. But under here are beets. Some really nice looking beets. I didn't multi-sow as such, I sort of just did a row. Some of them are bigger than others, but very excited about those. Those are Bolt Hardy variety. So yeah. Over here I have broad beans that have not come up. So yeah, but I do have some butterhead lettuce. I thinned these out the other day because they're getting quite big. A bit more there. And I've got some carrots. Absolutely need to cover these carrots though, because I obviously am concerned about pigeons. Under this netting, this again is from my house. There is, I don't know if you can see very well, but there are actually some carrot seedlings that have come up. These are some of the ones where it's like a seed tape. So I'm happy to see those. You can't really see them very well through the mesh because they're so small, but they are there. Here is spinach, which I don't know whether to uncover. And there's a few weeds as well. I don't know whether to uncover the spinach plants. And I mean, that one's being eaten already. Just to let them have air or not. So anyone suggestions about whether I should do that, do let me know. These are my first earlies. These are looking very happy and very good. I'm very pleased about those. I'm going to sow, I think, some flowers in between, maybe some marigolds or something. I thought that looked nice. And then over here, very exciting, although it's been uncovered, which is annoying, I have some delightfully looking radishes. Oh, that's a nice big one there. These are actually rainbow radishes, so they're not all pink reddish ones. But if we look, they are some nice looking, that in there, nice looking. Some of them are a bit smaller, and some of them, look at the size of that thing. That one's huge. And there's more under here, because this did have a fleece on. Yeah, well, that one's, don't know what's happened to that one. I've also got some spring onions that I multi-sowed under here, and parsnip seedlings, which are definitely coming along. And then over there we've got the red onions that I planted. So I'm just going to have a look, because I did actually sow all the way down to the end here. So, oh yes, there's some, that's a weed, but there are some parsnips down this end. They're just not as far along as those ones. Probably because this bit ends up more in the shade than that end. So they're just taking a bit longer here. But oh wow, some of these radishes. Right, it's time I got some jobs done after all that. So watering first of all, I think. And then I will look at what seeds and things I want to sow and show you there. But I'll prop you up and you can join me sorting out my allotment. Okay, I've flipped you around to my front camera because it's going to be easier for me to show the seeds that I've picked out that I want to sow today. But it does mean I quite often don't look at the screen properly and my eyes are like they're all over the place. So just bear with that. But yeah, I thought I'd show you the seeds that I've picked out. This is going to be really hard to do one-handed because I'm holding the camera. But I don't have anywhere to stick it. So yeah, this is what we're dealing with. So I'm going to sow, mostly I want to sow flowers today. A lot of what I need to plant is at home, like in module trays, ready to sow, or it's too early to direct sow. Apart from stuff I've kind of already done, apart from a few of these bits, which I'm going to do extra croppings of. I've got loads of things in already, multi-croppings of, like I've got loads of beetroots in at different stages. I've got loads of carrots in. I've got lettuces, I've got, you know, all sorts. So I'm not putting, I want to put lots of flowers in there. I need to start attracting the pollinators. Yeah. So I'm going to put loads of flowers in. So that's mostly what I'm going to show you, but I'll show you quickly the few plants, the few crops I'm going to put in. So first of all, I mentioned when I was obviously showing you the plants, I'm going to sow some more radishes. These are the rainbow radishes that we've been doing. So far we've had some pinks and some whites out. So that's what we've been doing. And I want to sow some more because they're basically ready. A few of them aren't, so a bit longer, but like really I should have sown another crop of these a couple of weeks ago, and then we'd have some really, really soon. But I didn't. So yeah, gonna try and do that though, because these grow so fast and there's so many places I can just pop them in and get a bunch. And the reason I didn't is because I don't particularly like radishes, or at least I thought I didn't particularly like radishes. Turns out homegrown, totally different ball game. These are incredible. So that's why I didn't do it. I knew my husband liked radishes. I thought my eldest probably would like radishes. Not sure my youngest will even try them, but so we're gonna do some more radishes. I'm also gonna do some more spring onions. I love spring onions. I like the idea, like I've done this before. I like the idea that you'll always have onion product available. Like in spring, you can grow the spring onions, you can always chop them and use them and fry the onions. And then obviously once you get to the point where your the sets that I've planted are ready to harvest, then I'll have loads of onions to use. And then leeks can be used in the winter once those have run out. So I just kind of like the idea of always having onion available. So I'm going to do some more multi-sown spinach. What am I on about? Multi-sown spring cabbages, because I did it again. I'm going to do some more multi-sown spring onions. I've got two varieties actually, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to do one, whether I'm going to do both, whether I'm going to do a bit of each, one or the other. Don't know. We'll see. But I've got these spring onion. These are the Guardsman variety from Fothergill's. And I have these, which I got from Aldi. These are the North Holland Blood Red. Fancy. They look really nice though. If you look at the picture, they look really nice. The reason I said spinach is because that was the next thing on my pile. Spinach, this is in the Amelia F1. This is what we have that I asked you whether I should uncover it or not. So we've got a few plants there. But it does talk about, you know, doing every, what does it say? Regular sowings every 2 to 3 weeks will ensure a continuous supply. I'm going to put some marigolds in. These were great last year for attracting pollen. These were the only pollinator attracting flower that I planted last year, and it worked really well. So that's why I bought more seeds. I actually got these, I think these are from Lidl. Yeah, I got these at the end of the season last autumn for like 50p. Oh, hello, Mr. Wasp. So they were a good bargain. Definitely going to put some of those in. There's the other baguette from Sutton's. I'll finish this one off first and then use that one if it's needed. I've got some nasturtiums. I've done some pink nasturtiums in a pot, because a lot of things I've watched and read and stuff, people say even though it's technically an annual, it keeps coming back. So, I mean, it says hardy annual on the packet, so I really don't know. But I'm going to put these in the ground, I think, these orange ones. There's a lot of orange flowers. Orange clearly attracts pollinators because so much of this is orange. But I've also got the pink ones, so they're not coming up yet, but they've not been in the pot for that long. So we'll see how that goes. For yet another yellowy orange flower, I've got calendula. This is Art Shades variety. This is, I want to use as well, you can like steep it in oil and make like calendula. It's supposed to be like medicinally kind of good or something. I don't know, I need to look into it, but I thought, well, I'll buy them, I'll grow them. If at all else, they're pretty flowers, and apparently you can eat them, so apparently they can be added to salad, so that'd be interesting to try. But yeah, thought I'd grow some calendula. And then the last one I just love the name of, right? Zinnia. What a great name. Now I wish I had a pet or a child or something I could call Zinnia, because I think it's such a fabulous name. But yeah, I've got Zinnia Sunbound Mix. I have sown some of these in pots over there. But you can also direct sow. You can sow indoors March, April, and sow outdoors April, May. So, yeah, why not? I will throw some zinnia as well, because they are very... I don't think these are edible like some of the other plants. It doesn't say it, so I'm assuming they're not. But some zinnias will go nicely. Well, that's all from me today. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful sunny day at my allotment. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please do consider subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.